Hello YouTube and fellow card collectors, this is Eric J and welcome to the channel. Today is another part of a series of showing collectibles and card games and card sets that pulled me away from sports cards collecting. We'll be looking at another set, or another two expansions for Decipher's Star Wars customizable card game. Again, looking at dark side cards for this particular video, and they are complete sets, 3 complete sets for each of the sets. These sets were released first Jabba's Palace in April of 1998 in 9 card packs that were separated in with 1 rare, 5 common, and 3 uncommons, split roughly half and half between light side and dark side. There are 180 total cards in the set, 80 of which are rare, 50 each uncommon and common. Half of those are dark side, half of those are light side. The second set that I'm showing is the Endor set, which was released in June of 1999. This set also had 9 card packs and 1 rare, 5 common, or 3 uncommon as well. 180 cards, 80 rares, 50 common, 50 uncommons, split evenly between light side and dark side. Endor did introduce an 18 foil parallel set, which had 9 cards in light side, 9 cards in dark side that were foiled, 2 of which were rare foils, 3 uncommon foils, and 4 common foils for each side. Those foils randomly replaced rare cards in the packs. So we're going to thumb through these cards. Again, generally speaking, the main characters were rare, though in this particular set, Jabba's Palace, quite a few of the creature cards ended up being rare. Pretty much it was a unique card, which means it had a little dot in front of it. It was probably a rare card. Jabba's Palace is the ultimate junk wax set for Star Wars customizable card game, as this set was massively overproduced, had a lot of cards that folks weren't particularly interested in going out and getting, and the set is the least valuable set of any of these cards these days. I think the only card that is really worth mentioning on the dark side when we get to it is Jabba the Hutt, which of course I got 3 copies of because 3 sets. But a lot of aliens from the first part of Return of the Jedi, characters that you'd have seen in the background of Jabba's Palace and the fight around the Sarlacc pit. So a lot of Germanian guards, other random aliens that you just saw one small shots of throughout. So it did introduce a lot of aliens, though. So a lot of character cards were available to play, but quite honestly, I don't remember playing very many of these cards when I was playing competitively or even semi-competitively, because the vast majority of these cards were just not very good compared to things that came out in previous sets and things that came out later. Last of the characters there. Rancor, of course, is a fun card. And then we had a handful of effects, interrupts, and just things that none of this was particularly powerful or particularly interesting. But got all the cards. Again, I love these cards because they had, art directly from, or screen captures directly from the movies. And the cards still allowed you to play as if you were in the original trilogy movies. Now, as we finished up going through the Jabba's Palace set, I did skip an expansion, and with this particular opening, and it's the special edition expansion, which came out late in the year 1998. The reason I'm skipping that expansion is because it's a large expansion. It had twice as many cards, and the way I stored the cards, mostly in order by expansion, but in cases like this where Endor and Jabba's Palace fit very nicely together in the same binder, those two ended up together, and so we'll come back to the special edition expansion after we're done. Here's the sail barge, which, toy collectors, if you're watching, the sail barge here in 2019 was just released. It's a gigantic toy set that was essentially kickstarted, to make a probably the largest toy figure I've seen for Star Wars. Now we're getting into the Endor set. That's it for Jabba's Palace. Endor is one of the sets that has retained a reasonable amount of value. Some of the cards in this set are more valuable than, heck, like a couple of these cards are more valuable than the entirety of the Jabba's Palace set. Endor, Death Star 2, and the Episode 1 sets are the sets that tend to have held value a little bit better than many of the other sets in this particular series. Endor is obviously going to cover the infiltration portion of Return of the Jedi, where the Ewoks are introduced and eventually get into the bunker and the land battle portion of the Battle of Endor, which Death Star 2 handles the space component of it primarily. Again, many of the unique troopers or unique Imperials ended up being rare in this particular set. There were foil cards in here. I don't remember if my foils are in this binder or a different binder. Just kind of thumbing up at the back. They are in a different binder. So I won't be showing the foil portion of this set in this particular video. Though I can tell you, like this card here, the Elite Stormtrooper, is one of the foil cards from the set. I'm not going to remember all 9 of them right off the top of my head, but we will get back to those in a later video. But you'll see a lot of the scout troops that were flying around Endor, interacting with our heroes, and of course a lot of the other troops and personnel that were protecting the bunker. A lot of trooper-based effects here. You're fighting Endor. From a competitive standpoint, it was a good strategy. But anyhow, we're getting a little bit. Some of the pictures into the battle itself are in here as well. And some of the negative things that happen to the hero group when the Ewoks are involved. There are no dark side Ewoks. Those are all light side characters, but we do know that they did interact quite a bit through a chunk of the movie, so most of the dark side cards are primarily dealing with the battle portion at the end of the movie, killing off Ewoks and whatnot. The few ones that don't are, when the Ewoks capture the crew and are trying to, sacrifice them to C-3PO, their god. The Endor sites showing up here. This is a lot of options to create decks to play these portions of the movies, and they were quite a bit of fun. And then we also had a new type of card that was introduced, and these cards have two sides to them that you meet one side and then it flips, and then you get the effects from the other side. Those cards were introduced with Special Edition, and there are also some like enhanced Jabba's Palace and enhanced Cloud City packs. Jabba's Palace ones in particular had some of these types of cards in them. I also get a lot of the vehicles. The chicken walkers, the ATSTs were an important part of the Endor movies. The Endor battle. So you see we got quite a few of these different scout walkers, and these were quite powerful cards for the most part. At least the rare ones were. Not all of them were rare. A couple of them I think were uncommon. Then we get into some of the weaponry on it, like this ATSD cannon is still a reasonably priced card. But that is all of the dark side cards. So I kind of work my way back. The last thing I'm going to show is the back of the binders. As I mentioned in other videos, on the back of the binder I kept a checklist of the two sets, or one set depending on the binder we're looking at, just as a way that I can find cards that I'm looking for if I want to build a deck to play. I could flip to the back side and just look there rather than having to thumb through and find what I'm looking for. So you'll see there's a lot of characters here. There's the Jabba Palace ones and the Endor ones. So wanted to spend a few minutes just to show these sets again. As I mentioned before, I'll kind of filter these in throughout the other videos that I'm doing, just to kind of show some things that we may have collected outside of sports cars collecting. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, please leave a comment. That's all appreciated. If you enjoy the content that I'm creating, please feel free to subscribe. That's also greatly appreciated. In the meantime, we'll look forward to chatting with you all in a future video. Thanks now, and bye.